I'm making this video because I get a lot of DMs from women who are involved in problems related to societal expectations, gender roles, education, employment, and religious misunderstandings. And when I read these problems in detail, I start to think about why in the world Muslim women cannot go far. And I came up with the conclusion that yes, society plays a huge role in our success. Even in 2024, we are still struggling with this problem. We do have our voices on social media. We can stand up for ourselves whenever we want to, but the problem is still there when we apply these principles in our real life, in our families, in our culture, in our society, in the workplaces. I'm gonna break down this video into 3 categories. What are the problems, how we can change it, and number 3, what are some of the mistakes that women do. So problem number 1 is societal expectations and gender roles. When it comes to problems, societal expectations of women are very high. She has to look a certain way. Wherever she goes, she has to be extremely gorgeous, presentable. Presentable is one thing, but looking like a diva, etc., is another form of expectation that people have. Like, they look at your clothes, they look at your shoes, they look at your handbag, they look at the way you wear your hijab, they look at your makeup. These are the very first thing that people look, and then they're always like to discuss about these, clothing, shoes, etc., handbags, etc. I mean, yes, these things are good, but these things do not define your value, correct? And these are some of the societal expectations that people put on you to look a certain way. If you look different than the society, then you are looked down upon. I like to dress up very nice when I'm going anywhere. I really like to look top notch and everything, right? And I don't do this just to get value from other people. I don't do it to get compliments or anything. I do it because I value myself. I think that I have to look a certain way because I like myself. I have some sort of value. I have self-worth. So that shows on the outside as well. And there's a difference between dressing yourself up to follow the societal expectations versus you dress up for yourself because you value yourself, you have confidence, you have some self-worth. Another thing that comes with societal expectation is gender roles and marriage and etc. These are the very important things that can limit your ability, your ambitions, your etc. Whatever you want to do in the future, whatever you desire to have, these gender roles and marriage etc. can limit it if you don't marry the right person, if you don't have the right family members in your family, in your workforce, in everywhere, basically the entire society, because they put a certain expectation on you to do certain things and not to do certain things. Nowadays, a lot of women go out there and have their own careers, have their own jobs, which is changing slowly, and then we're coming out of the whole traditional societal expectation of gender roles. But there's still a lot of Muslim societies who limit the women and they don't let women have any type of freedom, like going out, earning their own money, education, etc. None of that. They are expected to stay home all the time, full-time, raise kids, and this is pretty much their life is. I'm not saying that women shouldn't do these things, shouldn't raise kids, shouldn't take care of the household. Yes, we do that, right? But what I'm saying is that both things can be done in balance, that you don't limit yourself, limit your life, that this is your life. Like, you will only have to do this and you cannot do anything else. You can do both things at the same time. You just have to come up with the right solutions, right ideas, right mindset to do both things. Another problem is education and employment. Some Muslim societies, they don't let women educate or even go to college or school. And even if they send them to school or college after their graduation, they don't let them work at all. If women demands to have a good education, she is told that you're gonna get married one day. What's the point of getting all this education? And if she wants to work outside, people tell her that the people outside, and including men, are bad. They're gonna give her a bad time, harass her, do this and do that. So might as well just, get married have kids, this is what you're meant to do, this is what you're gonna do anyway in the end, so what's the point of having education or having like work and going out there, etc. There are a lot of rape cases happening. I read this somewhere where somebody said that we don't stop our men from raping, but we tell our daughters to remain home or dress a certain way. What they don't realize is that if you limit a woman, her mindset is also going to be limited. And basically, I mean, maybe they just do it because they can't control a woman anymore. If she goes out there, she has her own personality, she has her own opinions and a big mindset, etc. Maybe that's why they don't let her do it. I don't know what's the exact reason, but these are some of the very common themes that come up in our Muslim society, especially like Asian countries. Last problem is religious misunderstandings. So many scholars, so many people in our society tell women that simply she cannot go to work outside because it's haram to go outside. If a man sees you, it's haram. Like, you have to cover up a certain way, you have to hide your face, you have to do this, you have to do that, and just simply not come in front of the man. These are some of the religious beliefs that I see people complaining about over and over. Usually when this topic comes, people give me a verse from Quran that says that stay in your homes and do not display yourself like the women of Jahiliyyah, right? What they fail to realize is that this verse is not referring to all the women. It was simply specifically was told to the wives of the Prophet Muhammad. If you read the entire verse and the verse before it, Allah is simply addressing this to the wives of Prophet Muhammad and not just the general women. So when I counter argument this, they tell me that, oh, aren't all women supposed to be like the wives of Prophet Muhammad? They should be their role model, etc. All of the list of excuses come, and then I'm like, no, that's it. I'm not gonna argue with it anymore. You just believe what you want to believe. So how can we overcome these challenges? What are some of the tips that we can work on that actually can change our society? The first thing you have to do is to differentiate the culture and Islamic teachings. These are two separate things. Majority of the time, people just like to mix these things up and overlook the important parts in Islam and only grab those that benefit their culture. Okay, so I'll give you a simple example. In a lot of the Pakistani culture, women is expected to live with the husband's family after marriage. But in Islam, if you look at it, there's no such thing mentioned. It doesn't say that you have to live with the family or you have to live alone. You can do both, right? It doesn't have to be a certain way. Another example is celebrating the birthday of Prophet Muhammad. There's no such thing in another religion, but then people do it as a culture. And I'm like, where is this coming from? Second thing we can do is educate ourselves. I'm not saying that you have to go to college or do PhD and etc. Do that, for sure do that. But I'm also saying that if you are not able to do this for some reason, then learn on your own, educate yourself, read a lot of books, you go watch YouTube podcasts, you do a lot of research. So educate yourself, no matter what the medium is. Education is very important because it's going to expand your mindset. It's going to give you a personality. It's going to give you an attitude in life. It's going to help you go far in life. Also, if you don't have a mature mindset, if you don't have some sort of perspective, if you don't have opinions, etc., how are you going to raise your kids? How are you going to raise your daughters? And how you're going to expand their mind? The third thing you can do to overcome this challenge is by having some type of a mentor in your life. You can go to your teacher, you can go to your female doctors, you can go to leaders, you can have some type of a mentor in your life who can inspire you to build your life, give you some type of like a direction to pursue your dream. Now we're going to talk about some of the mistakes that women do in Muslim society. Number one is mixing culture with a religion and not having an understanding of what's the difference between these two things. That means that you have to be educated enough, you have to go research, you have to gain knowledge from people, the right people, that okay, this is what Islam says, this is what the culture is, and I'm not going to let anybody else tell me that these two things are together, and if yes, tell me the evidence. What is the evidence? Where is this coming from? Second mistake is ignoring the voice of a woman, and this just does not apply to men alone. This also applies to women, because most of the time women is like an enemy to another woman, basically, and there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of competition, etc. And that's why women ignore other women's opinions, other women's like voices, etc. They don't let other women go ahead of them. I know a lot of Indian Pakistani women who tell younger women to act a certain way, dress a certain way, otherwise nobody's gonna like you, otherwise people are gonna think that you're arrogant, etc., etc. And there's just so much that they fail to realize, that we have our own voices, we have our own opinions. We are not going to follow what you did 20 years ago. This is 2024. It's going to be different. The last mistake is fear of change. A lot of women are afraid of society. They're afraid of people around them. They're afraid of their families. They're afraid of whoever it is, friends, colleagues, whoever it is. They're afraid to stand up for themselves, for their rights, just so like everybody else is like, they're pleased with them. And they're always like sacrificing themselves to please others and prefer other people's opinion over their own opinions. If you stand up for yourself, know that the backlash is coming your way. People are gonna go against you. People are gonna label you all sorts of names. So know that this is going to happen. This is normal. Every time you stand up and have your own opinions and have your own voices, people are going to hate you, and that is normal. You have to make yourself strong enough that you can face these people. And of course, I'm not saying that you stand up for the wrong thing. No, never. You stand up for the right thing and make a difference in your life and other people's life. So the whole point is that don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to stand up for what's right. I'm not saying that you do the wrong things. No. You stand up for the right things. People will go against you, but as long as you are doing the right thing, do not be afraid. Yes, they can put restrictions on you. Yes, they can do X, Y, and Z. Yes. But at the end of the day, if you continue to push, they will understand at one point. And you have to do this in a right way. You don't create fights. You don't do anything wrong to that person. But the thing that's yours, just standing up respectfully for yourself. And the thing is that you have to be strong mentally when you want to change the society. Societies don't change with like regular mindsets. It's always those special people who change the society, change the mindset, and change the perspective of other people. And they're only able to do that because they are themselves like this. So overall, why women do not go far in our Muslim society is because of societal expectations, gender roles, education, employment, and most importantly, it's the religious misinterpretations. These sort of topics are very important because these will actually change the society. Yes, today we say that we have an equal society, but we don't. We still have a long way to go, and we still have to change a lot of people's mindsets and perspectives. And I'm so lucky to be born in this generation, and I wasn't born in like 1500s. This generation can actually speak up, and they can inspire other people through social media, and they can change people's mindsets. So I'm very, very lucky that I have this opportunity to bring the change in people's life. And if you benefited from this video, please let me know, DM me on Instagram or whatever. Let me know if it helped, and I can continue to make these videos. Thank you so much for watching.